Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this video is going to be a reaction video to a video that a buddy of mine sent me a few days ago. It took me a couple days to get around to watching it because the whole video is like 18 minutes long. I'm gonna go through it and chop it up and give my feedback, or at least my opinions on it. But man, once I saw it and sat all the way through it, it sort of blew me away to the point that I didn't even plan on making this video. But as soon as I saw it, I watched it last night and was like, I need to talk about this because there's a lot of clarity, I think, in this video. So without further ado, let me get into it. But let me also say that this is one of 3 videos this gentleman made about this topic. I'm only going to react to the first one. I'll leave links down below to all 3 videos. Because I think they're important enough for you guys to watch, especially if you're going through relationship issues or something along that nature. Now, the topic of this video is geared towards the ladies, and it's how to get any man you want. Let's dive in.
I'm Dr. Orion Taraban, and this is PsycHacks, Better Living Through Psychology. And the topic of today's short talk is how to get any man you want. This one is for the ladies. Many of you have requested that I make some episodes from the perspective of women who are finding it difficult to enter into the relationships they would like to have with the men that they want to have them with.
Okay, so I don't know a whole lot about this gentleman, but clearly he is a doctor of psychology, and he's making a video for women on how to get any man they want. Intrigued? Let's keep going.
These episodes aren't about securing a relationship with just any guy. That's actually fairly easy. These episodes are about securing a relationship with the high-value men you really want to have relationships with. These strategies will work on alpha males and millionaires and professional athletes or anyone else you happen to be targeting.
Alpha males, millionaires, and celebrities. High-value men. And it's crazy. In my opinion anyway, that term high value men, high value women is just a bit overdone and overplayed at this point. But anyway, I like where he's going. Let's keep watching.
The good news is you can get any man you want. I'm not kidding. Any man. The only stipulation, as we'll see, is you need to have direct access to him, which means you need to be able to contact him and you need to be able to meet with him. That's it.
Any man, did you hear him? Any man, as long as you have direct access to him. Intrigued? Let's keep watching. All right, this next clip needs a bit of a trigger warning. And let me just say this right up front. Yes, I've seen the whole video already, and I'm sort of doing a secondary reaction to it. Let me just say that if you get triggered by what's coming next, try to have an open mind and try to come from it from outside of yourself and just listen to the message, because this part is going to hit a little bit hard, but it all starts to make sense. I promise. Let's go.
The bad news is that if you haven't yet been able to do this, it's your fault. You are the problem. I'm not kidding. Since most men will entertain sexual offers from most women, if you're having trouble converting a man into a relationship, it's your fault. The flip side of this is that it's the man's fault if he can't attract female interest. It's the man's responsibility to develop himself to the point where he becomes an attractive option to women, right? It's not your fault if you're not attracted to him. We're not going to blame women for not wanting to sleep with unattractive men. Attraction is his problem. But if you can't get a man to commit to you, that's your problem and it's your fault. It's your responsibility to do the things you need to do in order to get a guy to commit to you. And it works like this because women are the gatekeepers of sex, which is why men need to work at becoming viable sexual options for women, and because men are the gatekeepers of commitment, which is why women need to work at becoming viable commitment options for men.
Okay, now bear with me on this. That's a really ballsy thing to say. But if you sort of step back and actually look at that a little bit and sort of dissect that, it sort of makes sense to a certain degree. Now, I'm not going to say that I fully agree with everything he's saying, but it makes sense. Let me just say that. Because what he said about men being the gatekeepers to commitment and women being the gatekeepers to sexual relationships makes a lot of sense, right? Because you're not going to just give up sex to anyone as a woman, right? He's going to have to earn that. Same thing with men and being the gatekeepers to commitment. Interesting. Let's see what else. Now, like I said, the whole video is 18 minutes long, and I do encourage you to go watch the whole thing after this one. But what he's going to get into now is women and why potentially they're not having success securing commitment from a high-value guy.
What is the biggest way in which women are their own worst enemies? In a word, pride. In most cases, pride is what is standing between you and the relationship you want with the man you want to have it with. And let me tell you, as someone who has suffered from pride himself, pride is cold company. It does not keep you warm at night. So what I want you to consider is that there is a time and a place to prioritize pride, and there is a time and a place to prioritize effectiveness or harmony.
Now that is super, super interesting, the whole pride thing, because even as a man, I know this video is geared towards women, but we all have pride. We all feel prideful, and we all feel like maybe that there are things that are below us, so I can't stoop to that level. I'm too prideful. I can't take that job because I'm too prideful. I'm too valuable. I'm too experienced. You get the idea. But it's a really interesting piece of the puzzle. But right now he's going to get into one of the things that women can do to get any man she wants. Let's go.
The one thing that you absolutely have to do as a woman in order to secure a commitment from a man is you have to be useful. Useful. That is the key. You have to be useful. I'll say it as many times as I need to. You have to be useful. And this is actually a reversal of the way that most women go about dating and relationships, in which it's all about them. Relative to the man you want, you are not the prize. You are only the prize relative to the men who want you, and you don't want those guys.
Okay, a few things to unpack here, and I hope you're still with me because he dives into this quite a bit more. But the whole bit about the prize, right? It makes a lot of sense, right? Because the person with the highest value is the prize. For example, if a woman or a man, but in this case a woman, is going after a guy who is in a higher value position than she is, does not that make him the prize? It's really interesting what he's sort of talking about, and it does sort of make a lot of sense. But let's get into more about the usefulness aspect because that's interesting.
A busy, successful man with lots of options doesn't have time for that nonsense. He's on a mission, and his mission, which is generally associated with a self-transcendent overarching goal, is more important than what you want. But here's the catch. You can get what you want if you can help the man achieve his mission. That is essential, because if you can be useful to a man, you can slowly integrate yourself step by step into his life to the point where you are so involved in the everyday mechanics of his existence that it would be functionally impossible to get rid of you. Why? Because if your usefulness would significantly disrupt his life if you were to leave, you now have job security. If the only thing you take with you when you leave a relationship is your Netflix password, you fucked up.
Okay, let's unpack that for a second, because as a man with a lot going on, I'll just speak for myself at this point. With a lot going on, who's trying to build something and is financially healthy and has a lot to offer, this makes a whole lot of sense. I've sort of felt that in certain ways, but I've never really had it explained and laid out like he's doing. And he's doing a really good job. Although that might be painful for some people to watch and to hear, like I said earlier, try to separate yourself and your pride and your feelings from the information. Because I'm telling you, and gentlemen, I want you to leave comments. Anyone that's watching this, leave a comment and let me know your thoughts on that, because that makes a whole lot of sense.
There is a reason why you're attracted to him, and that reason probably has to do with the fact that he has a lot going on. The number one thing I hear from women that they want in a man is ambition. They have a lot of things going on, ambitious men. You're not just here to benefit from all of his hard work. That's narcissistic and entitled.
Now, I might just leave that one right there because it kind of speaks for itself. But the reason that women are attracted to men who are doing more and are ambitious and are achieving and are getting things done and are making things happen and are financially healthy, you want to benefit from that, but you don't just get to walk in, what he's saying. You just don't get to walk in and just instantly benefit from it. So let's keep going because it gets a little deeper. Now, like I said before, this video is kind of long, and I did skip ahead and I chopped up this little clip because he starts getting into how to provide value and how to be useful to this man. So let's watch.
Get curious about the guy's life. Figure out what he's about and how he's about doing it. What would help him along his way? What would make his life easier? What could you possibly take off his plate? Then start offering assistance based on the information you've gleaned from your research. Why? Because if you help a man achieve his goals, you're going to be standing next to him when he gets there. The ticket to being next to a successful guy is getting involved in his success, not just enjoying the benefits of his success.
That's just brilliant, brilliant perspective. And think about all the stories of all these powerful, successful men that are still with the women they were with when they were nobody. I mean, think about Conor McGregor. He's still with, as far as I know anyway, he's still with the woman he was with when he was just coming up, when he was dirt broke, and she supported him. But he had a vision, and it just says so much about loyalty. And this isn't something that you can sort of do part-time. You can't manipulate your way into someone's life and pretend to be interested and pretend to help them. This goes a lot deeper than that.
A woman who is doing that for me? How could I get rid of that woman? She would be invaluable to me. And it would be relatively easy to slide into that role because there's not a lot of competition. There are tons of women who are competing for my attention and my time and my money, but there's not a lot of women competing to help me. Most men get zero help. This is your opportunity. It's a way to bypass 99% of your competition in the sexual marketplace. I'm not kidding, ladies. This is how you get in.
Mind completely blown. Why is nobody else talking about this? It's brilliant. And for the longest time, I have felt something very similar to that. Like, why doesn't anyone want to help me on this mission? Like, I'm on an upward trajectory, and why doesn't anyone care? But I always sort of felt like selfish thinking that way. I always felt it, but I never vocalized it. And I never just put it all together in the way that he's putting it all together. I'm telling you, as a man speaking to a woman, that's the key. He's got the key. That's the answer. Now, this next clip, he's going to talk a little bit about the pushback of service. And it's not necessarily, don't think of it as serving your man, like back in the 50s, right? I'll let him explain.
Is that service is a gift for you. It's a gift because it's the pathway into that man's life. And it's a gift to you because, in general, the value you provide is still less than the value you receive. And the more you become implicated in the actual mechanics of his life, the harder it will be to ever remove you from that situation. Again, women don't have to do these things, but trust me, these things work.
It's wild. It's just so wild that he's putting it all out there in a way that I haven't heard before. Like I said a minute ago, like these are things that I have felt, sometimes feeling selfishly, feeling those feelings and thinking those thoughts. But having it sort of laid out like he's doing, it blew my mind. And I hope that a lot of you guys resonate. So let's keep going.
You gain access to that commitment by being useful and providing value. And what's going to stop you from doing that? Pride. That indignant voice that lies to you and tells you, I shouldn't have to do that, or that's beneath me, or this isn't the 1950s, or what about me? That voice is what is standing in your way.
Ladies, like he said, if you want actual commitment from the guy that you want commitment from, and he's a high achiever, this guy just gave you the keys to the kingdom. I'm not even kidding. Whether or not you want to believe any of that or whether any of that resonates with you, and I guess I'm speaking with the women right now, I guess that's up to you. I'm telling you, he's brilliant. He's right on the money. And maybe he's just not afraid to say these things. And it's like, I don't know that I would have ever made a video out and put a video out to the world where I would say these types of things. So kudos to him. Like I said, I will leave all 3 links to all of his videos down below. Go give him a watch, and let me know what you guys think. And with all that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. Live well, and I'll see you in the next video.